I'm going to go over every single bad decision Coraline makes and explain what I would have done differently. Coraline's first bad decision was to wander off and explore. You may be confused how that was a bad decision, so let me explain. Because of wandering off, she meets this little nerd named Why Are You Born Wybie. This interaction allowed Wybie to see how Coraline looked, which ended up in him giving Coraline the Coraline doll. Now this doll not only teleported to expose the secret door, but it was also used by Beldam to spy on Coraline. To be honest, there's really no way she could have known. I mean, she was just bored and decided to explore. Even if Coraline didn't meet Wybie or get the doll, Beldam would have still found some way to lure Coraline to the door regardless. I wouldn't do anything different here, except maybe not grab Poison Oak. Coraline's next decision isn't really bad, but it's important. It's when Coraline finds a secret door and gets her mom to open it, and it's just a brick wall. Obviously she's a kid and curiosity and whatever, but it's pretty odd that her doll just so happened to teleport right next to the secret door. It's pretty supernatural and freaky. The only thing about this decision that was bad was it made her mom mad. That's about it. I truthfully think I would have asked my mom to open this door as well. I mean, a little door in our new house, you gotta see what that is, right? Also, since the doll moved and that's pretty paranormal vibes, I've seen enough horror movies to know that ghosts and demons don't like to expose themselves to adults. So pretty safe decision by Coraline. Now this is where Coraline starts making some really bad decisions that seriously threaten her safety. Coraline wakes up to a mouse under her bed, and she decides to follow it, leading her back to the door. This time though, when she opens it, it's no longer a brick wall, and now a tunnel of blue and purple, and it's so pretty, but no. Look, I understand Coraline's a kid and Curious George, but what? No. Earlier the doll moving could have been a coincidence, like maybe she forgot where she placed it, but this was a brick wall before. This quite literally makes no sense. This tunnel is filled with warning signs. This is extremely supernatural. I'm not gonna lie, yes, I would be curious too, but going through a suspicious tunnel alone? I am not that stupid. Coraline should have woken her mom up. I don't care how mad she would have been. This was a dumb decision by Coraline. Now whatever, we'll let it slide. Coraline was curious, I get it. Realistically, it's hard to know if this is supernatural yet. Maybe the mice broke the brick wall, it's fine. But what she does next is where we can clearly tell Coraline has no survival skills whatsoever. So after entering the tunnel, Coraline is back in her house, like a straight replica of her house, which already makes absolutely no sense, and hints instantly at something paranormal. But if that was not enough, she then sees her mom. But she has button eyes and tells her she's her other mother. And while Coraline does look visibly uncomfortable and scared, she stays. She literally stays. It's pretty obvious what you should do in this scenario. You run, you get out of there. No other mother with button eyes is a good thing. This is paranormal, a horror movie, not a regular thing. Coraline is absolutely bugging for even thinking it was a good idea to stay here. I know that's a boring, generic response, but it's just so obvious. I don't care how much I hate my mother, which by the way, I don't. I love my mom. I would never want to replace her with some button-eyed, other realm, brick wall removing freak. I would be kinda sad I didn't get to experience this food though. Every time I watch this food scene, my mouth waters. Now Coraline obviously did not run, and she actually really enjoyed her time. She had some banging food, her dad was cool and played music, and other mother healed her poison ivy. But the biggest thing is, they paid attention to her and made her feel like she wasn't a nuisance. Regardless if it's fun, they got good food, they give you more attention than your parents. At the end of the day, you were in some other weird world, and your parents literally have buttons for eyes. That can't end well. Coraline then gets warned by both her neighbors that she is in danger and shouldn't go through the door. But what does she do that exact night? Goes straight through that door with a smile on her face. Now look, I won't lie, Mr. Babinski does seem a little cuckoo. He told Coraline that the mice told him she shouldn't go through the door. Mice can't talk, so it's hard to take this seriously. But getting warned by your other neighbor too, that can't be a coincidence. Also, regardless if mice could speak or not, him knowing about the door is a little odd. Coraline though feels safe going into the other world, since her first visit didn't really go bad at all. And to be honest, I'd probably go through the door again as well. I mean, both neighbors seem pretty insane and old and losing it, and the other mother and father seem alright and healed my hand and didn't kill me. Like I explained earlier, I wouldn't be in the scenario to start out with. I'm just being honest. Okay, now things are going pretty good. Coraline is enjoying the other world. Nothing really weird is happening at all. It's actually extremely fun and like a dream world. It's perfect, but maybe too perfect. Things start getting questionable when the cat comes to Coraline and warns her about how this world is not what she thinks. Coraline doesn't really take him seriously, and to be fair, he does say he was told this from other Wybie, who literally has his mouth sewed shut, so I can understand how this would be hard to believe. But this makes things start to get pretty suspicious. Coraline has now been warned 3 times that something is is going on. So while there isn't much to do here, I personally would start to be more cautious and put my guard up. Now that same night, Other Mother offers Coraline the button eye deal, a deal where you literally sew buttons into your eyes and permanently live here. This is where finally Coraline gets some survival skills and realizes this place isn't just some fun escape, but it's something more creepy. Coraline actually makes a smart decision here and doesn't really give an answer, but says she wants to go to bed because when she sleeps, she's able to escape back into a real reality. Honestly, after so many bad decisions, this one was great, but I would still do something differently. Coraline's acting in this scene was pretty bad. It's very obvious she is uncomfortable and kinda scared, which makes sense. This completely caught her off guard, but maybe if her guard was up from all the warning signs, she could have been more prepared for this moment. Beldam needs Coraline to like her, because Coraline needs to verbally consent to the button eyes. So if I was Coraline, I would have not acted scared at all. Say I'd love to, but I just want to say a final goodbye to my parents. Ate food with them, and went to bed, wake up in my reality, and never go back. I think that's really the only way out of this scenario. Trick the other mother. Now Coraline, when she realizes she can't just simply wake up back in her real house, goes straight to the living room, hoping to just go through the tunnel, but it's locked. She then confronts her other dad, who is acting really weird. He's saying odd things and the piano is shutting him up. So she runs outside. While it's smart and saves her time to think and get information from the cat, this world is not normal. And this world is pretty much just the house and enough outside to where you can't tell there's a literal white void. So there's no escape except for that door. The only thing bad about this decision is that now Beldam has confirmation Coraline is officially scared of her, which is not good. But to be honest, there really is not much to do. She's sold at that dinner table. When Coraline gets back to the house, she actually is smart enough to grab a weapon, but it turns out Coraline is actually dumb. And this was not a weapon. It was just a way to barge into the living room. So this kid walks into the living room unarmed, thinking she can just go through the door. But then a bug guards it, and another bug closes the door. She is now cooked. This gotta be one of Coraline's goofiest moments. She literally learned all the lore from the cat and now knows this world is not what it seems. But she doesn't arm herself at all. Not to mention from a previous scene in the kitchen, we can see that there were knives. Just so stupid. And if you think, oh, maybe Beldam hid the knives. No. In the scene after this, we can see there are still knives in the kitchen. If I was in this situation, I would have grabbed the cane, walked to the kitchen cautiously, grabbed the knife, then break open the door with the cane. Then I would just go ham with that knife, stabbing all those bugs. And I'm not exactly sure if I'd be able to win the fight with Beldam since she's like an evil witch, but I would die trying. Anyways, Coraline then starts catching an attitude with Beldam, and she transforms into a big, evil, scarier version of herself, then throws Coraline into a mirror. Now it seems in this scene there isn't much you can do, but that's far from the truth. Beldam's transformation takes approximately 8 seconds. So instead of sitting there in awe, the best thing to do here with your limited strength is to run into her full speed and tackle her. Since she's taller now, she should fall harder, giving you more time until she gets up. Also, this would throw her completely off guard. You then need to run to the bug guarding the door and really quickly scooch him away. But if that doesn't work and you're too weak, here's where you have to do a Hail Mary. In the living room, there is a fireplace. So what you have to do is grab the logs and start throwing them all over the living room. The throws have to be planned though. The first throw needs to be towards Beldam. The next throw needs to be at the bug guarding the door. And the next throws need to be anywhere to cause a fire. Now this is like a 21% survival rate. Either you die in the fire or it creates enough of a panic and distraction for you to get out of there. But to be fair, Beldam may just snap her fingers and stop the fire. I mean, she is a witch. I don't know. Honestly, this is a pretty bad situation. Anything you do here has a very low rate of survival. You kind of have no choice though, since it can't really be predicted here that Wabi would go on to save Coraline from the mirror realm. So you just have to send it. Anyways, like I said, Coraline does get saved and heads back home, but she realizes her parents are missing, leading us to another dumb decision Coraline made earlier. The last time Coraline entered the door was during the day, while her parents weren't home. Going at night was okay, because her parents were sleeping and didn't have to worry about Coraline. But when they got home that day, to their knowledge, Coraline was missing. So they ended up following in after her, going through the tunnel and getting captured by Beldam. The reason this decision was so bad is because Coraline literally escaped and is now home, but she has to go back into the other world to save her parents. This leverage would have never existed if Coraline just went at night. She would be home safe and sound and her parents would be too. Anyways, Coraline obviously has to go back to the other world to save her parents. That is the only decision, unless you genuinely do not care about your parents. Upon entering, Coraline strikes a deal with Beldam, that if she can find the eyes of the ghost children and her parents, Beldam will set them all free. But if she doesn't find them, Coraline has to stay there forever and get her eyes sewed into buttons. Coraline actually does get the 3 eyes before the time limit is up. and all she has to do now is tell Beldam where she thinks her parents are and she wins. But come on, Beldam is not gonna play fair. This is all rigged, and Coraline actually realizes this. And even though she found out where her parents were, she tricks Beldam into opening the door, saying she thinks her parents are in there. She then throws the cat onto Beldam, which is so smart. While Coraline is on a roll with the smart decisions, it can't last forever, because the next decision she makes is so utterly stupid. So the cat distracts Beldam for approximately 13 full seconds. And guess what Coraline does? Just stands there doing absolutely nothing. She had 13 seconds to run and escape through the door with her parents and the kids' souls. Not to mention the cat literally escaped as soon as he had the chance. So it's not like you're a bad person for potentially leaving the cat. You could have still waited for him. Beldam's pretty much blind, you have enough time. Just a really dumb decision. Now Coraline does end up escaping, but she makes another extremely dumb mistake. She leaves Beldam's hand in the tunnel. I know it's hard to know if Beldam's hand being unattached could lead to anything bad, but after everything she has experienced, you should not be surprised by anything at all. She should have taken his hand and destroyed it. A really dumb mistake. Even though Coraline does end up throwing Beldam's hand down a well, and nothing really bad happens from this was all luck. YB saved her, and if it was not for him, Coraline would have been so extremely cooked. So in conclusion, Coraline was pretty dumb throughout this entire movie. In the end, she did make some smart decisions, but in the beginning, she was dumb. I know I explained what I would do differently for all her decisions, but ultimately how you survive Coraline is just not going in that tunnel, or just running when you see your mother with butt and eyes. It's that easy. This is my first time making a video like this, so please let me know how I did and if I should change anything. I'm very open to criticism. Thank you so much.